This conference will now be recorded.
So now today we'll see few more tags. How can we interact with the database? How can we collect the data? How can we represent the data on the user interface in the form of tabular format? Now let's see practically. Okay. So now let's see. The next tag is PageBlock table tag. Next one is the PageBlock table tag. We will see what exactly the PageBlock table, what is the use, how to design the table on your user interface, how to represent the records in the tabular format on your user interface, and how can we bind the data, what are the various tags we need to use, and how can we show some columns in the form of the hyperlinks. We'll see practically with this one. Now, so whenever if you want to represent the records in the form of a tabular format, okay, if you want to show the records in the tabular format, we have to design a table on the Visualforce page by using a tag called as PageBlock table tag. Generally, when you go to the HTML, to design the table, we are using that table tag. Table is a standard tag, okay. Table is a standard tag inside that HTML, which is used to design some tables. We can add some columns, we can add some rows also inside that the HTML also. Like the similar way, if you want to show some information in the tabular format on your Visualforce page, then Visualforce page has given a tag called as PageBlock table tag. PageBlock table is a standard tag which is having the tabular structure inbuilt. It is having the inbuilt tabular structure which will be representing the records in the tabular format. That means in the form of rows and columns, it will represent the information. So as of now, we have collected the data from the database by using the various SQL queries, by adding the various conditions, by adding the various filters by using where class, like operator, in operator. We have applied so many classes. Through those classes, we have filtered out the records, and those resultant records we are able to show on our debug log file. But the debug log file is not having the capability to represent the records in the tabular format. Just we can show the complete record information over there in the form of key and the value page by separating a comma. But sometimes when you go to the user interface, I can able to design a table. On that table, we can represent the records in the tabular format. That possibility is there. So to design a table on your Visualforce page, we are using a tag called as PageBlock table tag. By using this PageBlock table tag, we can able to represent the records in the tabular format. Okay. Now, then how can we use this a PageBlock table tag? Now let's see practically in this case. And what are the various properties are available for this PageBlock table tag? Now let's see practically here. Okay. Now, simply this PageBlock table concept is exactly similar like as your enhanced for loop. Simple concept. We'll see the difference between normal enhanced for loop and the PageBlock table also, how this two will work. Okay, we'll see practically also here. Okay, now let's make a note of this one here. This tag is used to represent a collection of records in the tabular format on the Visualforce page. This tag is used to represent a collection of records in the tabular format on the Visualforce page. This tag contains inbuilt table structure, which arrange the records which arrange the records in rows and columns format. In rows and columns format. We need to supply the data source. Data source which contains the records to be visible inside the table in the form of a list collection. In the form of a list collection. That means what records you want to display inside the table, those records you have to collect from the database, or you can able to prepare manually by your own also. Once the records have been getting prepared, add inside the collection and then give this collection as a source to the table format. The table structure will be nothing but the PageBlock table will collect this collection of records. It will iterate the collection from starting to ending, collect every record, placing inside the tabular format like as a separate rows. So it will be having that inbuilt tabular structure. But what records you want to represent inside the table, we have to pass the records to the table tag. How? In the form of a list collection, not in the form of set, not in the form of map. We have to pass the data source in the form of a list collection. The list collection of records will be visible inside the tabular format by default. We no need to prepare these columns manually here. So it will be preparing automatically by iterating that collection from starting to ending. Okay, now. So now in this case, how can we bind this data to this particular PageBlock table and what are the various properties are available here? Now let's see. So now whenever we are using this PageBlock table tag should be always a child component to the PageBlock. Inside the PageBlock only we have to use this PageBlock table tag. Outside the PageBlock tag we can't use that. It's always a child component. Okay. Now make a note of this one. It should be a child component to the PageBlock. It should be a child component to the PageBlock. It should be a child component to the PageBlock. Now, so what are the various properties are available for this PageBlock tag? Now let's see. The first property is ID property, which is used to specify the reference name, which we can use in order to refresh this component based on that name at runtime. Next one, rendered property. Rendered property is used to indicate whether this component, whether this table can be visible or not. To represent that, we are using this rendered property where we can supply the value in the form of Boolean parameter. Either it may be true or either it may be false. Next, the value property. Inside this value property, we have to specify the list collection name. List collection name. Where exactly this list collection? That means what exactly the collection which is having the records which I want to show in the tabular form. So now I'm having a collection. Inside the collection, I'm having some records are there. Those records I want to show in the tabular form. So what is that collection name? We have to specify that list collection name in the form of the merge field format to that value property here. Next, the fourth property is var property, which is used to use a reference name for each record. Each and every record will be getting referenced with the help of that var property. We are having this ID property, rendered property, value, and then var property. So these are the various properties are available as part of this PageBlock table tag. Okay. PageBlock table tag is going to be having the inbuilt tabular structure, which will be representing the specified collection of records in the form of tabular format. Okay. So now, for example, I'm using a PageBlock table tag. Whenever I'm using the PageBlock table tag, it is providing a tabular format to me. Okay, a tabular format. That too, this table is an empty table, no columns inside this. Okay, no columns. Just it is going to be representing in the form of a tabular structure. That's it. So now in this table, what columns information you would like to display? What columns you would like to display inside this table, that we can decide. For that one, in order to add some columns, if you want to add some columns inside this particular table, then we have to use a tag called as column tag. Okay, we have to use a tag called as column tag. Now, next tag, column tag, apex column. Next tag is column tag. Inside the table, upon representing the records inside the tabular format, to add some columns inside the table. In which order you want to display that information? What columns you want to show? In which order you want to display? So what is that column header? Everything we can able to represent with the help of that column tag. Column tag is used to add one column inside this table over here. So now in this case, inside this table, I would like to add one column. So now to add this column, I'm using a separated tag. Suppose if you want to add one more column tag. To add another column, one more column tag. To add another column, one more column tag. Like that depends upon your requirement. We can able to add the required column tags to be used to prepare some columns inside the table. Okay. In order to add some columns inside the table, we have to use that column tag. Okay. Now, so now let's see what are the various properties are available for this column tag. Okay. Now make a note of this one. Upon representing the records in the tabular format, we can add the required columns to the table by using column tag. Upon representing the records in the tabular format, we can add the required columns to the table by using column tag. We can add one or more columns to a table. We can add one or more columns to a table. We can add multiple columns to the table also. Not only one, multiple columns we can able to display here. The properties. Before that, we can add this one. This tag should be a child component to the table tag. This tag should be a child component to the table tag. Now, the first property. First property is an ID property in order to indicate the reference name for that column. Okay. In order to refresh that particular column, we can able to use that ID column, ID property. Rendered. Sometimes dynamically, I will represent whether the column can be displayed or not. I will decide. If the data is there, then I want to show that column. If the data is not there, I want to hide that column. So we can able to make that column to be get hide at runtime, or we can show that column at runtime with the help of that rendered property by using that rendered property of that column tag. Next one. Header value property. Header value property is used to indicate the column header. For example, if I'm adding a column inside this particular table, we can give some header also. I'm indicating like as some name. That means this is the account name or customer name, whatever. To give this column header, we are using a property called as header value property. Header value property is used to indicate the caption for that column. Column name, simply the column header. This is called as a column header. So this is called as a column values. Inside this column, what are the data that we're storing? Those are called as a column values. This is the column header. This is also called as caption for the column. To indicate the caption for the column, we are using that header value property here. Caption or the column header. To specify the header value. The fourth property, value property. Value property is used to indicate the what columns information you want to display. What column data you want to display inside this here. We can specify the reference name dot field name. We can specify what column data you want to display inside this the column tag. Inside this column, what column information, what field information you want to display here. We can represent by using that value property. At that time, we have to specify the reference name and then the field name. Okay. Now, so these are the properties are available as part of this column tag. With the help of this table tag and with the help of this column tag, we can able to represent the records information in the table or format also. Then how to design this table, how to bind the data to this table, how to represent the records in the table or format by adding some specific columns. Now let's see practically in this case. Okay. Understood this concept here, two tags, PageBlock table and then column tag. PageBlock table tag is used to represent the table or structure on your user interface. In that table, what columns you would like to display. To divide that entire table structure to the various columns, we are using this column tag. By using this column tag, we can able to add a column to the table. In that column, we can represent some records information. Okay, it may be name values or rating values, industry values, annual revenue value, whatever the column information you want, we can represent or we can display inside that column. Okay, clear up to now? Now, so now let's see how can we prepare this table, how can we bind the data here. Okay, now let's see practically in this case. Okay, so now before going to this particular PageBlock table concept, first of all, okay, let me go with that normal concept. As of now, you know how to get the data from the table, how to store inside a collection, how can we iterate that collection from starting to ending, how to display the records in our PageBlock file. You know that concept here. Let me explain that concept, then we'll see how can we use this PageBlock table, then you will be getting that clear idea on that. Okay. For example, come to a scenario. Assume that I'm having an account object. I have an account object. In this account object, I'm having some 20 records. Okay. Inside my account object, I'm having 20 records. Account object is having so many columns: ID column, name column, rating, industry, annual revenue, type column, phone column, fax, website, and then we are having billing address information, shipping address information, SLS information, customer priority, active status, along with our custom columns are also available inside the table. So many columns data is available. Now, I don't want all these columns information. I want to fetch few columns data from the table. I want to show inside the PageBlock file. I want to collect the data from the database. I want to display the data in the PageBlock file. Now tell me how can we write that code? SOQL, right? Tell me how can we do that now? I want to show this data inside my debug log file. For that one, we are writing some business logic. Now tell me how can we write that business logic? For example, I'm having the method public void get all accounts. Now tell me, how can we show the data here? List of record. Then how can we collect this one? List of account. LST accounts equals to SOQL query. I'm writing that query. Select the ID, name, rating, phone, fax, from, and account. Okay. So I'm collecting only this data from my object here. I'm collecting only this information. So now here I'm collecting the data by making an SOQL query. This is a static SOQL which has been enclosed inside that square braces. You know that concept of static SOQL, dynamic SOQL, both you are aware of that. So now I have prepared one static SOQL query. Through this static SOQL query, I have collected that account record ID values, name values, rating, industry, annual revenue, phone, fax from the account object here. And that data I'm storing inside my collection. Now tell me in my collection how many records are available now? 20 records, because my object is having 20 records are available. So now it will be displaying that all the 20 records inside my debug log file. So now whenever I'm going to be executing this SOQL query, now this query is going to be collecting all the 20 records from my object here. So whatever the 20 records are available inside my account object, all the records will be collecting by this SOQL query. It will place those records inside my collection. Now tell me how to show those records in my debug log file. How to display? Okay, enhanced for loop. Now tell me how can we write that enhanced for loop? Okay, for account ACC LST accounts, right? That means what I am doing for this enhanced for loop. Now enhanced for loop is used to iterate the collection from starting to ending automatically. No need to specify the initialization part, conditional part, incremental, decremental part. Everything will be taken care by that enhanced for loop itself. So that we are using enhanced for loop in most of the cases inside our implementation. So that I'm using this enhanced for loop. For this enhanced for loop, I'm passing that collection name where exactly the records has been placed. What are the records that have collected from that object? Those records I have placed inside the collection. Now this collection name I'm passing to this enhanced for loop as a data source. Data source means what? Where exactly the records are available, which you want to iterate internally here. So these are the records are there which are available inside my collection LST accounts. I am passing this collection name as a data source for my enhanced for loop. Now this enhanced for loop is going to start iterating this collection from starting to ending. It will collect each and every record. It will placing inside a variable called as ACC. This is the reference name of that variable. Now once the records have been getting iterated, then we can able to show that record information one by one. How to display each and every record information one by one? System dot debug. I want to show that ACC dot name. System dot debug ACC dot rating. System dot debug ACC dot industry. System dot debug ACC dot phone. System dot debug ACC dot fax. Like that, whatever the columns information that you want, we can represent each and every column information inside my debug log file by using that system dot debug statement. So this is a piece of code we are writing inside our normal Apex programming in order to collect the data and to represent the data inside the debug log file. Okay, this concept you know already. We have used this concept multiple places also. In most of the examples we have used. Okay, now in this case, what I want to do is, so whatever the data is available inside my collection, as of now, I have represented the data, okay, inside my system inside my debug log file by using this enhanced for loop and by using the system.debug step. But now the same collection data I want to show in my Visual Force page in tabular structure. I don't want to show on my debug log file. I want to show on my user interface in tabular format. How can we represent this information over here? In order to show this data, okay, in order to show this data on the debug log file, we are using like this format. This is the format we are using over here. Okay, which will represent the data in the debug log file for you. Now, I don't want to show on the debug log file. I want to show on my Visual Force page. How can we do this one now? By using PageBlock table. Now, in this case, how can we design that PageBlock table over here? Now, let's see. So, in this case, what are the data that we have? If you want to represent this data in the Visual Force page, then at that time we have to use that PageBlock table tag over here. Okay, we have to use that PageBlock table tag. Okay, we have to use PageBlock table. Now tell me, how can we use this PageBlock table tag now? Tell me the syntax of PageBlock table. Apex, PageBlock table. Okay, I'm using this. Apex, PageBlock table. And here the ending tag over here. Now, up to this is fine. Next. But this PageBlock table, what we need to do? See, let me explain here. This PageBlock table tag is exactly similar like as your enhancer for loop. Okay, this PageBlock table tag is exactly similar like as your enhancer for loop, nothing different. But this enhancer for loop, what we are passing? Collection name, where exactly the records are available. Here also we need to pass. Suppose if you want to display some data in the table, then we have to give that collection right where exactly the records are there. What records you want me to show in the tabular format? We have to pass those records in the form of what? In the form of collection. What collection? List collection here. How to separate the list collection to the PageBlock table? Value property. Okay, value property. Value equals to what we can specify? Collection name. What is that collection? LST account. That's it. Okay, now that means what? Data source we have supplied over here. For my enhanced for loop, I'm passing LST accounts. Now what this for loop will do, it will be iterating the collection from starting to ending automatically by default over here. Okay, because it is purely a forward direction cursor. Like the similar way, if I'm passing that collection name to my PageBlock table inside that value property, now this PageBlock table will iterate this collection from starting to ending automatically. Every record it will collect automatically by default. Now in this case, each record will be having some specific values. Each value I want to show in a separate column over here. For that reason, what we need to do, each and every record I'm collecting from the collection, I'm storing inside the reference variable called as ACC here. Like the similar way here also, we are using that reference variable, that is with the help of property called as var property. Okay, var property. Var equals to some ACC. Now tell me any difference in enhanced for loop and PageBlock table. Any difference over here? It will display on the debug log file, that will display on the user interface. That's the difference, nothing else. Parameters are also same. Here I'm passing two parameters here. One is the collection. Here also I'm passing collection. Here I'm representing the record in the form of ACC reference name. Here also I'm giving the reference name ACC, nothing else. Same like as your enhancer for loop. No change. Just syntactical difference here, that's it. Okay, just the syntactical difference. Okay. Clear? Both are having internally same functionality. That's what I'm comparing these two. Okay, enhanced for loop and then your PageBlock table, both are same, because the internally inside the PageBlock table, behind the PageBlock table tag, it is having that enhanced for loop, which will be iterating this collection from starting to ending automatically. It will collect each and every record from the collection, will be placing inside the variable ACC. Okay, clear up to this one, or any questions still? Any questions? Now, next one. When you go to this enhanced for loop here, now I am going to be using that enhanced for loop to iterate the collection from starting to ending by using the collection. I'm using this collection. Here the collection where exactly the records are available. I'm iterating this collection, collect every record, place inside that ACC variable here. Now from there we can display that information by using ACC dot name, ACC dot rating. That means that records object name dot field names we are representing here. So now, like the similar way, once the data has been getting collected, once the collection has been placed, once the record has been iterated, first the record has been collected that has been stored inside this ACC variable. Now I want to show that record information, how inside that column, okay, inside the column. Like as name should be in one column, rating should be another column, and then industry will be another column like that. How to represent for that one? I'm using that Apex column tag. Like as your system.debug, I'm using this column tag. What is the property? The system.debug of what we are specifying by using system.debug. I'm printing some message on the debug log file. What message I'm printing? Account records, name field value. Like the similar way, we are going to be adding a column inside the table. In that column, what data you want to display? I'm indicating that value property. In this value property, I'm indicating. How to get the record information? ACC. ACC dot what field information you want to store display? Name. That's it. Over. Okay. This is one column like a system.debug. I want to display the rating column. Now tell me how can we specify? Value equals to ACC dot rating. Okay. Column tag value equals to ACC dot rating. I want to display industry column also. How can we display? Apex column value equals to ACC dot industry. Apex column value equals to, I want to show that phone column, ACC dot phone. If I'm fetching that active status column, at that time we can specify Apex column value equals to ACC dot active status, active underscore underscore C. That's it. Now tell me any difference between this for loop and system.debug here, PageBlock and column here. Exactly similar concept, no change. Just as part of Apex, we are following this format. As part of Visualforce, we are following this format. Nothing else. Okay. So both are similar, but it will be representing the data in the system debug log file. It will represent the data on your Visualforce page here. Okay. Here. Understood this concept here? Now. So now here in this case. So now whenever if you want to represent, okay, whenever if you want to represent a collection of records in the tabular format, we are using a tag called as PageBlock table tag. Okay, we are using PageBlock table tag. PageBlock table is a standard tag given by the Visualforce, which is having inbuilt tabular structure to represent the records in the tabular format. So now whenever we are representing some data in the tabular format, we have to give the data. What records information you are going to be representing on the tabular format. So we have to supply that input. That input we need to supply in the form of a list collection. So collect the data from the database object by making an SQL query and then store the data inside that collection. Now this collection data we can represent inside my Visualforce page. For that one, I'm passing this collection data to my PageBlock table tag by using that value property. That means PageBlock table, please display that record in the form of a table. What data? The data is available inside the value property. That means value. That means the table is having some values. Values means some records. Where the records inside the collection? What is that collection? This is the collection name. In this collection, multiple records are available. Collection may be having 0 records also, 1 record also, 2 record also, 1000 records also. I'm not bothered about that. Whatever the records are available inside the table, inside that collection, those collection of records I want to show in my table. For that one, PageBlock table is going to be iterating this collection of records from starting to ending internally by using the help of enhancer for loop. Each record it will collect from the collection. That record will be placing inside a variable called as ACC, a reference variable here. We can give any name instead of ACC. You can give ABC, XYZ, whatever you want. We can provide that. So now here I'm giving the reference name as ACC, which can be given with the help of a property called as var property, nothing but variable property. That means each and every record will be holding inside a variable. That variable is called as ACC variable. In this ACC variable, I'm having one account record. That account record information I'm representing in the tabular format by adding the column. So now inside this ACC variable, there is one account record is available. That account record is having so many values. Name value is there, rating value, industry, so many values are available. Each value I want to represent in a separate column. For that one, I'm using a column tag. Now the column tag is preparing one column. In that column, it will be displaying that account record name value. In the second column, it will be representing that rating value. Third column is representing industry value. Fourth column, phone value. Fifth column, active status value. Like that here, once the first record has been displayed, then table will be iterating again. Second record will collect, it will display the second record, like the third record, fourth record, up to last record inside this collection, which will be iterating by Salesforce internally by default. Okay, so this is how we are going to be using the PageBlock table in order to represent the data in the tabular format on your visual appearance. Okay, clear? Any questions still? Any doubts? Understood this concept here? Now, next one. Now, in this case here, whenever if you want to represent the data, whenever if you want to display a collection of records inside this user interface, this is the collection name here. Now, what we can do in this case? This collection, how can we access from the Apex class? By deriving how? Get set, simple. Define the collection inside the class level, make it as get set. That's it, over. No need to write much business logic over here. Simply write this SVO query here. Okay, simply write this SVO query. Now let me place you that code also here for your understanding. I'm placing this code also. I'm preparing that class here. Public class show our accounts manager here. Accounts helper class. So now inside this class, I would like to get the data. For that one, I'm using this one. Public void get all accounts. I would like to collect the data here. I'm indicating the collection. I'm preparing an SVO query. Select ID, name, rating, industry, annual revenue, active status from account. I'm preparing this SVO query in order to get the data from my object here. Once the data has been getting collected, how can we store the data? By defining a collection. That collection data where you want to show inside my Visual Force page. If you want to show, if you want to access that collection data from the Visual Force page, we have to define the collection with a get and set, right? Yes, because yesterday we have discussed whenever we are defining any members inside the class, if you want to access any variable of the class or collection of the class or object of the class from the Visual Force page, we have to define inside the class level with get and set. Now in this case, I'm defining that variable here. I'm preparing that collection. Public list of account LST accounts. I'm making it as get and set. So once the collection has been getting prepared now, okay, once the collection is ready, then we can able to, okay, store the data inside that collection over here. LST accounts equals to, we can able to get that information over here. Okay, now this collection data we can able to pass to the Visual Force page. Visual Force page is going to representing that information in a tabular format. That's it, over, nothing. We no need to write any for loop, system.debug, nothing. Simply we can able to collect the data from the database, store into the collection, pass to the Visual Force page. It will take care of the representing the data here. Okay, clear? Nobody is responding. Understood the concept here? How can we get the data and how can we represent on your Visual Force page in the form of tabular format? Clear up to now? Okay. Yes, we can use that, no problem. That's what I told you yesterday. Okay, inside the constructor, of course, it may not be allowing the DML, it will be allowing SVO also. We can use SVO constructors also, okay, no problem. We are using constructors only now. Okay, we can use the method also, we can use the constructor also, whatever you want. So simply we have to collect the data from the object by making an SVO query. and then simply make the data to be get accessible from that Visual Force page. From there, the Visual Force page is going to be collecting the data. Okay, from that collection, it is going to be representing in the tabular format. Okay, clear? So this is the way we are going to be using that PageBlock table inside your Salesforce instance. So previously, when you go to that normal Apex programming, we used to write that getting the data and then representing the data on the debug log file. Both we are writing inside that single class itself, because we are writing the data inside that debug log file. But now here I'm going to be collecting the data from the object by using Apex. I'm representing that records on the Visual Force page. So that Visual Force here I'm using that PageBlock table, and then inside that accounts class I'm collecting the data by storing inside the collection itself. This collection I'm making it as with a get and set, because this collection can be accessible from my Visual Force page also. Okay, clear? Understood the concept here? Because this PageBlock table concept is exactly similar like as your enhancer for loop. This column tag is exactly like as your system.debug statement. Whenever you are facing difficulty to understand this one, just refer this enhancer for loop, this concept, then it will be very easy to map that here. Okay, clear? Sorry, label in the table we can change the label, no problem. Any label we can give, no problem. Because inside that name, inside that table, we are having that column names like as name, rating, like that. Inside the Visual Force page, in the table, we can change like as customer name, customer rating, contact number, like that. We can give that column names also, no problem. We'll see practically now. Okay, clear? Shall we go with an example now? Let me place that example here. Syntax. I'm using that Visual Force page code. Apex PageBlock table, value equals to LST accounts, and the var equals to SUC. Apex column, value equals to, I'm displaying that account record name. Suppose if you want to give a different column header, we can specify that header value property. Header value equals to, we can specify that customer name, like that. We can give your one column name, whatever you want. If I'm not giving any column header, then what is that column name? Default in the sense what? Field label, that's it. For this particular field, whatever the label is available in that object, that label will be making it as table column header. like this. Done? Okay. Now, so let's see a practical example. How can we do this? How can we collect the data from the object? How can we represent the data on the user interface in the form of a tabular format? Now let's see. So let me take a small use case. For example, I'm having an account object. In my account object, I'm having totally 14 records are available. Okay, I have totally 14 records inside my account object. So these are the various records are available inside my object. Totally 14 records are there. Now I want to collect all these 14 records. I want to show these records on my Visual Force page in tabular format. Okay, whatever the 14 account records are available inside my object, I want to query those records by making an SQL query. I want to store inside the collection. That collection of records I want to show in my Visual Force page on the tabular format. Along with that, I want to show the count also. How many records are there? I want that count also. How can we represent that information? Now let's see practically in this case. Okay, understood the requirement here? Take a small use case. Design a Visual Force page to represent all the account records on the Visual Force page in the tabular format upon loading the page. While loading the page itself, I want to display those records, okay, on the page in the tabular format. And display the records count also. Records count. And display the records count. I want to show how many number of records has been written by the dislocable query. I want that count also. Now tell me generally how can we get the count of those records? Size method, simple. By using that size method, we can see how many number of records has been written by the dislocable query. Done with this use case. Now let's see the practical part. Now tell me how to implement this one. It's your turn now. Tell me how can we write that? Based on your steps, I will write the code. First, what we need to do? Design the page, right? So let me go with that page /apex. I'm indicating show all accounts page. Okay. I'm designing a page with the name show all accounts page. So now with this name, there is no page has been designed as of now. So it is indicating that page show all accounts page does not exist. I want to create that page now. So click on that link. Now it will be creating the page for you. Next. Now I'm having the default code. I have removed the default code. Now tell me what we can do now. Okay. First of all, specify the default properties for your page tag. Setup property, I don't want. Sidebar also I don't want. For that I'm indicating false. Show header, true. Tab style, I'm indicating that the company info object tab style I'm applying over here. Okay. Now, next. Form, one more tag is there. Section header, right. Section header, title equals to accounts. I'm indicating subtitle equals to all accounts. Okay, all the account records I'm representing here. Save this one. Now we are able to get that the section header, nothing but the section header. There you are getting that the title and then subtitle information also along with the respective image of that particular object. Now I'm using that form tag. Now tell me inside the form tag what we can do. PageBlock. PageBlock. I'm giving that title. What is the PageBlock title? All accounts. I want to show that account record count in between this. Okay, here I want to show that accounts count. So I have defined that PageBlock table, PageBlock here. Inside that PageBlock, I'm displaying some title also. This is the PageBlock title. And then here in between that braces, I want to show the count of those records. How many records I am collecting from the database. Now I need to design that PageBlock table. Upon designing the PageBlock table, we have to pass the collection name, right? So for that one, first of all, we need that collection, right? So where we can define the collection inside that class. Now where we can define that one? Now tell me. Controller. What controller we want to use now? Standard or custom? Custom. So how can we use the custom controller? Controller property. Now tell me what is the controller name now? Show all accounts controller. Now right. So now I'm preparing the controller with the name show all accounts controller. Let's try to save this code. So now the controller class is not available. Now I want to create this class now. So click on the link. Now the controller class will be getting prepared for you. Now tell me what we can do now here in this case. Create a list collection. Define the list collection. List of what? Account. LST accounts. Get and set. Why get and set? Because this collection data I want to display in my Visualforce page. So in order to access this collection from the Visualforce page, we have to define with the get and set accessors. Next. Okay. So now I would like to display this information upon loading the page itself. Then what we can do? Constructor. Okay, use a constructor because constructor will be executing upon loading the page itself. So that instead of writing that code inside the method, we can able to use the constructor also. Of course, method also we can use, but we need to call the method additionally by using action property in the page tag. But in this case, we no need to call this constructor manually, that will be invoking automatically. So I'm preparing a constructor. What is that constructor name? Show all accounts controller. Next, here what we need to do? LST accounts equals to, I'm creating the object over here. New list of account. Next, query, right. LST accounts equals to, write the vocable query. Select ID of that account record, name, rating value, industry, annual revenue, active status, and the phone, fax, and the customer priority from account. Okay, now, so now here in this case here, what I am doing, I am going to preparing the object of this collection class, and then I am going to be collecting the data from the object by using the vocable query. That collection of data I'm storing inside my collection. Okay, now tell me anything to do here. Size where we can display on the page, so no need to do anything over here. Directly we can access, because I'm passing the collection over there, right? By using collection name dot size, we can display that. Now, business logic is over. Nothing. Which one? Now here in this case, directly instead of using this part, also, we can able to write this vocable query also. But in this case, if the query is not retaining any data, this will be holding null value. It will be holding null value. But I don't want to show null. Number of records count is 0. 0 value will not come under that. It will be simply null. It will be raising an exception. For that one here, I'm creating that collection object here. Once the object is created, then I'm executing this query. Upon executing the query, if the query is not retaining anything, it will be holding the value 0. Collection size will be 0. Okay. Clear? Now, simply what we did. So now, first of all, we have prepared that controller class. Inside this class, I have prepared a collection in order to store all the account records which I would like to represent inside my Visual Force page. I have prepared a collection which is a listed collection, list of account, which will be holding the collection of account records, and this collection data I want to show on my Visual Force page. For that one, to access this collection from the Visual Force page, I'm making it as get and set. Okay, I'm making it as get and set. And then inside that constructor, I am going to be collecting the data by making an vocable query, and then this data I'm storing inside my collection. So now tell me here, you can now tell me, instead of using this constructor, can you use a method? Yes. If it is a method, what is the additional thing that we need to do? We need to call the method from the Visual Force page by using what property? Action property. Okay, so that here no need to use the method, we can use the constructor also. Now tell me, can I write any DML statements inside the constructor? No. Constructor does not allow any DML operation. Only vocable queries we can able to perform inside this. Now my business logic is over. Now this collection can be accessible from my Visual Force page. Now let's go to the Visual Force page part. Now design that PageBlock table here. Now tell me the code here. Now tell me the table here. Apex PageBlock table. Where we need to write the PageBlock table inside of what? PageBlock. Now tell me. Next. Value property. What is the value property? Collection name. What is the collection name? LST accounts. Next. Variable. Var equals to ACC. Right. Next. Column. Value equals to ACC dot name. Next. Column. Value equals to ACC dot rating. Apex column value equals to ACC dot industry. Apex column value equals to ACC dot annual revenue. Apex column value equals to ACC dot phone. Apex column value equals to ACC dot fax. Apex column value equals to ACC dot customer priority. Apex column value equals to ACC dot active status. That's it. Done. So now in this case, what happened? Simply previously, when you go to the controller classes, we are making a collection, we are preparing the collection, storing the data by making a SQL query. We are representing the data by using system.debug statements inside that enhanced for loop. But we are not using any enhanced for loop. Simply write that SQL queries to collect the data, store inside the collection, make this collection can be accessible from a Visual Force page by using get inside. That's it. Over. Now, when you go to the Visual Force page, it will collect that collection of account records from that list collection. It will iterate the collection from starting to ending. Each record will be storing inside a reference variable called as ACC, and then we can get each and every field of that account record from the variable ACC, and we can represent inside a separate column by using column tag. Okay, clear? The priority here, customer priority. Now let's save this one. I'm saving this one. Now whenever I'm saving this one, what happened? Upon saving this one, when you click on that save, what will happen? It will save the code, compile the code, execute the code, display the results to you. In this case, what happened? Upon executing that code, it is going to be executing my business logic also. How it is executing? It is preparing that object of the controller class. Upon creating the object of the controller class, this default constructor will be getting filed, which will execute the SQL query, store the data inside that collection. Now the Visual Force page will collect that collection, represent that collection data in the tabular format automatically. Now when you go to that page, we can able to see all the records information. Whatever the records are available inside my account object, all the records information we can able to see in the tabular format inside this. Okay. Now here I want to show the count. How can we display that number of records are available here? Now, how can we specify that? Collection name. What is that collection name? LSD accounts dot size. No need to specify the open braces, close braces. That already told you every method, every collection, every variable, every property can be simply accessible by using the merge field format. No need to specify the open braces, close braces apart calling the method. Simply specify the LSD accounts dot size. That's it. Now it will collect that collection size. Collection size will be getting visible to you. Totally 14 records are available inside my account object here. Okay, clear? Understood the concept? How can we collect the data? How can we represent? Clear about this one? So now, for example, here, come to a scenario. Assume that whatever the records I'm representing over here, I want to arrange these records based on the name. What we can do? I want to display these records by arranging the records based on the name column. What we can do? Where condition? Order by. Order by what? Name column. Where we can write that code? Inside that query. Inside that query, we have to specify order by. Order by name. Now let's save this one. Now the records will be getting arranged in the alphabetical order. Depends upon your requirement. Okay, whatever the conditions, whatever the filters, whatever the classes you want to apply, everything we can able to apply inside the query level itself. So the records will be getting arranged based on the name in the ascending order. Those records will be storing inside the collection. The same records will be representing inside your Visual Force page in the tabular format inside this. Okay, clear? Understood the concept? how can we represent the data in the table or format. So now suppose for example here it is showing like a simply phone. I don't want like a phone, I want to show contact number. How can we do this? Then what we can do? Where we can make the changes here. For this column header, I don't want to display like as phone. I want to show contact number. Here I want to show that the fax number. Where when coming to the phone column, we are using that property called as header value. Header value equals to, I would like to specify the contact number. For the fax, I'm indicating header value equals to the fax number. Okay, now simply save this one. Now instead of displaying simply the phone and the fax, we can able to show contact number and then fax number. Depends upon your requirement, we can able to represent that column names also by using that header value property here. Okay, if I'm not giving anything by default for that field, whatever the field label is available, that label will be considering is as column header for you. Or else you can give your own column header by using that header value property here. Okay. We can see the pagination also. Next concepts. We'll see pagination. We can able to apply some checkboxes also here. We can select the multiple records, delete the multiple records. Everything we'll do one by one. We can see. We can use that enhanced list view also. For that one, we have to use a small tag called as enhanced list. Apex enhanced list tag. By using this one, we can show that enhanced list view also. Okay. Each and every feature we'll see practically here one by one. Okay, clear? Understood this concept here? No need of creating the table over here. Yes, you can do that here. Because enhanced list view will be representing all the records automatically. Okay, understood this concept now? Clear? You want to take a photo? That's what I'm not sharing the notes. I'm not sharing the videos also to you. Okay. We're having the photos, right? Then what is the use of video and all these things? Okay. We have to ban these mobiles in the class. Clear? Now, next one. Let's see some more enhancements inside this table here. So this is my table records right now. For example, when you go to my account records, I'm having the recent records section is available. In this recent records section, okay, we have a table which will be representing the recently viewed, recently created, recently modified records will be getting visible to you inside the table or format here. Okay. So in this case, how the records are visible over here? The record information is getting visible, name and the rating, industry, all the columns are visible. But in this case, it is displaying that account record name in the form of what? A hyperlink. Okay, this account record name is visible in the form of a hyperlink. When you click on this particular link, what will happen? that record will be getting opened automatically by default here. I am able to see that record information. Upon click on that record, it's the communication. I'm able to see that account record information. This is the account record details, contacts information, opportunities, cases, notes and attachments, approval steps. All this information we can able to see inside that the tabular format, nothing but the tab format here. Okay. So that means what? When you go to that account records information, I'm able to see each and every record name in the form of a hyperlink. Like the similar way, what are the records I'm displaying inside my tabular format, here also every record name I want to show in the hyperlink format here. Okay, I want to show in the form of a hyperlink. So upon click on this hyperlink, okay, upon click on this hyperlink, it has to open this record automatically for me. Okay, upon click on this name, I want to open the record automatically in a separate tab. I want to open a separate tab. In the tab, I want to open this record detail information. How can we do this one here now? Command link, no. No detail link. So now here in this case, whenever if you want to represent some information in the form of a hyperlink, we have to use a tag called as output link tag. Okay, we have to use a tag called as output link tag. Then what exactly the output link tag? What is the use? We can now let's see practically in this case here. Okay, now make a note of this tag here. Output link tag. Output link tag. Output link tag is used to place some hyperlinks on your user interface. On your user interface, if you want to place some hyperlinks, then we can go with that output link. Now we can able to raise the question, sir, already we are having command link. Why can't we go with command links? Because as soon as once I click on this hyperlink, what I'm doing, simply I'm redirecting the user to the detail page. That's it. I'm not invoking any actions, nothing. I'm not invoking any methods. I'm not performing any operations. Simply, I'm redirecting the user to the detail page of the record. How to go to the detail page? Simply by using that URL. Based on the URL, we can redirect the user. So now for that reason, simply here also, if you want to invoke some actions, if you want to invoke some methods, then we can go with that command link tag. If you want to simply redirect the user to a specific page, then we can go with that output link tag. Okay, output link. Simply a hyperlink will be getting visible. Upon click on that hyperlink, it will redirect the user to a specific page. What is that page? The detail page of my record I want to represent. How can we represent the detail page of the record? By specifying that base URL / the record ID itself over here. We need to pass that record ID. Okay, if I'm passing the record ID, automatically it will be redirecting the user to the detail page of the record. Then how can we redirect the user? Now let's see practically here. Okay, now for example, assume that I would like to have a small hyperlink. Okay, I would like to have a small hyperlink. Click here. So this is the hyperlink I would like to have over here. As soon as once I click on this hyperlink, I want to redirect the user to that Salesforce website. I want to redirect the user to that Salesforce website. I want to redirect the user to the Salesforce website. So then how can we redirect this one here? In this case, how can we prepare this output link? So in this case, in order to represent some hyperlinks inside your Salesforce page, we have to use a tag called as Apex output link tag. Okay, output link. Starting of the tag and then ending of the tag. Apex output link. In between the starting and the ending, whatever the content. Okay, in between the starting and the ending, whatever the content we have specified. Click here. Okay, whenever if I'm placing some content in between the starting of the output link tag, ending of the output link tag, whatever the information that we have specified, this information will be getting visible in the form of the hyperlink format here. This content will be getting visible in the form of hyperlink. Okay, now In this case, what I want to do, generally here simply I have specified that in the form of hyperlink. If I click on this hyperlink, what it will do, nothing will happen. Simply it will be reloading that same page again. But I don't want to reload the same page. I want to redirect the user to a Salesforce website. How can we go to that Salesforce website? Salesforce is having their own website here, www.salesforce.com. There is a website URL is available here. I want to redirect the user to the Salesforce website. Then how can we specify to which page you would like to redirect the user? For that one, as part of this output link tag, we are having some properties are available here. As part of this tag, we are having a property. The first property over here. The property is value property here. In this value property, we have to specify the target page URL. Okay, to which page you would like to redirect over here. We have to specify the target page URL. Okay, target page URL. For example, here I would like to indicate now value equals to, I would like to indicate http salesforce.com. Okay, this is how we need to specify. That means upon click on this particular hyperlink value, that means where you would like to redirect here. For that one, we have to use a property called as value property. Now, for example here, now you have indicated that target page URL, that means some salesforce.com website, of course, fine, no problem, I will redirect the user. Where you want me to open that page here? In a separate tab or in the same page over here? Okay, generally here as of now, what happened here, when you go to this one, when you go to, in my current case, when you click on this edge communication, okay, now on the same page it is opening this record here. But I don't want to open the same page, I want to open in a different page. Okay, that means in a separated tab, in this tab I want to see that record. For that one, we can indicate where you want to open that page. For that one, we have a property called as target property. Now I think this kind of thing already we have discussed somewhere. Email templates, right? As part of HTML email templates, custom email templates, we have used this tag also here. There we have used anchor tag. In that anchor tag, we have used this target property also. Here we can specify the blank underscore new underscore parent. Like that, we can able to specify where exactly you want to display that the respective user interface. Whatever the page you are going to redirect, then where the page has to be get loaded. In the same page or in a different tab or in a separate browser window or where you want me to open. For that one, we have to use a property called as target property. These are the two properties are available as part of this output link tag. First one is the value property, which is used to indicate the name of the target page URL to which you would like to redirect the user upon click on that hyperlink. And then second one is the target property to indicate where the target page has to be get loaded. In the same page or in a separated tab or in a separate window where you want me to open over here. For that one, we are using these two properties as part of output link tag. Okay, clear this one? Now let's make a note of this one here. Output link tag. This tag is used to represent the hyperlinks on the Visualforce page. This tag is used to represent the hyperlinks on the Visualforce page, which can redirect the user to the specified target page based on the website name or URL, which can redirect the user to the specified target page based on the website name or URL. We can indicate where exactly the target page should be get loaded. We can indicate where exactly the target page should be get loaded. that should be inside the same page or in a separate tab or inside a separate browser window where we can able to indicate that possibility is available. Now let's see the properties. The first property is ID property, which is used to specify the reference name. Second one is the rendered property, which is used to indicate the Boolean parameter to indicate whether the hyperlink has to be get visible or not. Third one, we are using this value property to specify the target page name or URL. Fourth property, the target property, in order to indicate where exactly the target page has to be get loaded. Underscore blank, underscore new, underscore parent. Like that, we can able to specify where exactly the target page has to be get loaded. For example, I'm indicating Apex output link. Here I'm indicating that the value equals to, we can specify http salesforce.com, and the target equals to underscore blank. We can use. Blank tab, one more tab it will be adding on that browser. New means one more separate browser. Parent in the sense on the same page. Clear? Now let's see how can we represent this information. Let's take one more small use case. So let me explain a small use case. For example, I'm having lead records. Totally, I'm having 15 lead records inside my object, where for every lead record, I'm having the various fields. Lead first name, last name, title, company, status, department, division, phone, fax, rating, industry, annual revenue, and then address information is available. So now what I want to do is, I want to collect this lead records information from that lead table. Whenever the page is getting loaded, I want to display all these 15 lead records in the table or format, where that lead record name, complete name I want to show. First name, last name, both I would like to combine together. I would like to show this complete name in the form of a hyperlink. Upon click on that hyperlink, it has to open the lead record in a separate tab to me automatically by default. Okay. Here, they have combined that first name and the last name over here by giving a small comma. But I don't want that comma here. I want to display first name and the last name. Both I would like to concatenate together just by giving a small space. Just by giving a space, first name and the last name, both I would like to concatenate. This entire name I want to represent in the form of a hyperlink. Upon click on that hyperlink, I want to open that lead record in a separated tab here. Okay, clear? Understood the requirement now? Let's see. Make a note of this use case. Design a Visual Force page to represent all the lead records in the tabular format upon loading the page. Upon loading the page. Represent the lead name column value. Name column. First name plus last name. Represent the lead name column in the form of a hyperlink. Upon click on the lead name, redirect the user to the lead record detail page in a separate tab. In a separated tab. So this is my use case. Done with this use case? So now tell me, how can we write this a piece of code now? How can we write this piece of code? What we need to do first? I'm designing a small page. Apex show all lead records page. I'm designing a page by using show all lead records page. So with this name, there is no page has been designed as of now. So I'm creating the page. So click on this hyperlink. Now Salesforce is preparing a page for you. Open the editor and write the code. I'm designing that initial screenshot, nothing but default properties. Setup equals to false. Sidebar equals to false. Show header equals to true. And the tab style equals to position object tab style. I'm indicating that section header. Title equals to leads. Subtitle equals to all leads. Or simply we can say unconverted leads. These are the lead records which are not yet converted. I'm using that form tag. Inside the form tag, I'm defining the page block. I'm giving the title all lead records. I'm giving some space. in order to display the count of those lead records over here. Okay. So now here I have prepared a visual first page by giving the section header with the help of the title property and then the subtitle property. I have prepared a page block. In that page block, I'm giving the title here. Now I want to load that lead records information. Now tell me how can we do this one? Okay. Now create a list collection, right? Now for that one we need to prepare a controller class. Now I'm indicating that controller as show all lead records controller. Okay. I'm creating a visual first page and then my class name exactly similar, but the page name is ending with the word page and the class will be ending with that name controller. Okay. Now let's save this page. Now it is indicating the controller class show all records, show all lead records controller is not found. So I want to create this class R. So let's create this class. Now the class has been prepared now. Now tell me what needs to be done. Same business logic like as the previous one, nothing different. But that will be for account. This is for lead. That's it. Now public list of lead record, LST leads. I'm preparing a constructor over here. Public I'm preparing a constructor. LST leads equals to new list of lead. Now I'm collecting the lead records information by making an SQL query. Select ID of the lead record, first name, last name, email, title, company, status, industry, rating and annual revenue, and then phone and the fax from lead. Order by name based on the first name or last name, whatever you want. Okay, based on last name. Okay. Line 12. Okay. Now, so now here I'm going to be collecting that lead records information from my lead object, and then I'm arranging this lead record information based on the last name column in ascending order format here. For that one, I'm using that order by class, order by last name. If I'm not specifying any order, by default, Salesforce is arranging the records in the ascending format by default. That means minimum to maximum, that is A to Z format. Now, I'm collecting all the lead records information. Now I want to show those leads on my visual first page in the tabular format. How can we represent this one now? Page block table. I'm defining a page block table. Now, properties, value property. What we can specify now? Collection name, LST leads. Next, var equals to, I'm indicating some LD. Next, apex column tag. Value equals to, I want to indicate here. LD dot first name. Apex column value equals to, or else first name and last name I want to show in the form of a hyperlink. Okay, so I don't want to display this information. I want to display the lead title. So before this title column, just to give one line of space. Okay, because I'm adding one more tag. So now here I'm indicating lead dot, I'm indicating that rating value. Apex column value equals to lead dot company. Apex column value equals to lead dot status. apex column value equals to lead dot industry, apex column value equals to lead dot annual revenue, apex column value equals to lead dot phone, apex column value equals to lead dot fax. So these are the columns information I'm representing over here inside my Visual Force page. Now it is showing the title column, rating column, company, lead status, industry, annual revenue, phone number, and the fax number columns here. Inside this industry annual revenue, no values are available. Let me remove these columns here. Okay. So now here I'm displaying that rating value, title value, and then rating, company name, and then lead status, phone number, and then fax number information. Now along with that, here I want to show the lead record name. What column information, first name and the last name, both I would like to concatenate, I want to represent. Okay. So now that name should be visible in the form of a hyperlink. Okay. Now for that reason, I'm adding a column over here. Inside that PageBlock table, here I'm adding that column, apex column by apex column. One additional column I'm adding over here. Okay, I'm adding one additional column. Let's see. Now it will be adding a small column. Let's see here. There is a small column will be available over here. Okay, there is a small column is available here up to this point. Now, when you observe this one clearly, we can able to see this information. Let's see. So there is a small column is available over here. Up to this part, there is a small column is available here. Okay, there is a small column. In this column, I want to show that information. Here I want to show this information. Now I'm giving that header value. Header value equals to, I'm indicating that lead name. Okay, I'm giving that column name as lead name. So now I've given that column name as lead name over here. In this lead name column, I want to show the lead record name. First name and the last name, both I want to concatenate. So now for that one, I'm indicating that here. LD dot first name, I'm giving a small space, and then LD dot last name. I'm giving that column name over here. The last name and the first name, both I'm concatenating over here. But in this case, this lead record name I want to show in the form of a hyperlink. For that one, here I'm placing this content inside that output link tag, apex output link. I'm placing inside that output link tag. So between this output link tag, I'm placing this content. Okay, inside this output link tag, I'm placing first name and the last name. Whenever I'm placing that first name and the last name data in between that output link tag, whatever the information is available, this information will be getting visible in the form of a hyperlink. But when I click on this hyperlink, nothing will happen. It will refresh the same page again over here. But I don't want to refresh the same page. I want to redirect the user to the detail page of the record. For that one here, how can we go to the detail page of the record? For example, this is the record here. This is the detail page of the record. How can we see this one? Based on that URL. This is the page, detail page of the record. So what we have inside this, we are having up to this part, this is simply the ID. And now, so this is called as what? Base URL. And then we are having what slash, you are having ID here. Now, whenever we are going to redirecting the user to a specific record, this is a base URL, we no need to specify. This base URL will be taken care by Salesforce. Simply, we have to add what? We have to specify a slash. And then we have to specify that ID. We know that ID. How can we get that ID? We are having that ID inside our collection itself. The record ID is available over here. That is, we have collected ld.id. We can able to collect this information. So that I'm using that value property. Okay, I would like to redirect the user to a detail page. A detail page will be having like this. Up to the base URL is common, and then we are having slash. Base URL we no need to specify. Simply go to that slash. And then I would like to place that record ID. Whatever the record that you have selected, click on that. That record ID I would like to collect. For that one, the record ID is available inside my ld.id field. Okay, simply we can specify ld.id. That's it. Over. No need to specify that. Target property equals to underscore blank. Okay, underscore blank. Please open a blank tab. Inside that blank tab, please open that record detail page. Based on what? Based on the record ID. This is the lead record ID. Please open this lead record detail page inside this blank tab inside my user interface. Okay, understood this one? So we are going to be adding one additional column inside my table in order to represent that lead record first name and the last name value, okay, by concatenating inside my column itself here. So we are using this output link tag to represent that column name, column data in the form of a hyperlink. So now here I am going to redirecting the user to the detail page of that record by using that value property. Upon redirecting the user to the detail page, every record detail page will be having that URL like this. It will be having that Salesforce base URL and a slash, forward slash, and then actual record ID. Now my record ID is available inside my lead collection. That means inside that collection, we are having that lead record ID. What is that lead record ID? This is that lead record. In that record, I'm collecting the ID value. That means I'm placing that selected record ID inside this particular URL. So that please redirect the user to the detail page of this lead record based on this ID and open this record detail page inside that separate blank tab inside my Salesforce instance. Okay. Now, so let's save this content now. Now it is indicating this information to you. So these are the lead records are there. Let me show that content count also. Okay, I'm indicating lead records count. LST leads dot size. LST leads dot size. So now we can able to see this information. Totally we are having 22 lead records are available inside my lead object over here. These are the 22 lead records are available. Now, as soon as once you click on this link, nothing but piston again. Once you click on this link, the record will be getting open for me automatically by default here. For example, I would like to click on this record. Okay, so now just glimpse. So now click on this one, the record will be getting open for you automatically. So now here I'm going to be using that one more record here. So now Jack Rogers. Now the record will be getting open for you. That means what? We can represent the records inside your Visual Force page. Upon click on that record also. Okay, upon click on that record also, we can redirect the user to the detail page of the record just by click on that record name itself. So that not only representing the data inside the table or format, we can able to represent that column data in the form of a hyperlink also. Upon click on this hyperlink, we can redirect the user to a specific target pages also here based on your requirement. Okay, clear? Understood this concept over here? Inside the backend level, we are not doing anything. Only at the front end level, we are representing the data in the form of a hyperlink by using that output link tag over here. In this output link tag, I'm displaying that lead record first name and the last name, and I'm indicating upon click on this first name and the last name, which record you want me to open, which URL you would like to open. So now please open that URL, which will be having the Salesforce base URL common, and then slash, and then selected record ID will be getting placed. Whatever the record name that I click on that click on record ID will be collecting over here. That ID will be placing inside this URL. To that record, it will be redirecting the user, which will be getting visible inside a blank tab inside your same browser. Okay, clear? Understood this concept here? Nothing will happen. When you click on rating, nothing will happen here because it's a hard coded one. No, it won't apply. No. Yes. Okay, clear? Done.